What's up, everybody? And today we are talking about Welcome to Derry, episode 4. If you want to hear what my thoughts about 1 through 3, that video should be up at the same time as this one. So, yeah, episode 1 through 3 got its own little review, and this is going to be just for episode 4. As of recording this, episode 5 will drop tonight in a couple hours, so we'll see. Why is the mic over there? We'll see how that kind of pans out and how that episode does. So full spoilers, I haven't said that already, so if you haven't seen the episode, go watch episode 4 and come on back. So yeah, talking about episode 4, fucking Peppermint Patty got her eyes, or at least one of her eyes, taken out. I can't stand that girl. Granted, she's a little kid, so you're gonna be popular or whatever, but like her trying to be friends with I can never remember anyone's name. Her trying to be friends with the other girl, but also be with the patty cakes and be popular. I was like, nah, she gotta go. So I was happy when, her eyes went all, snail and she's freaking out and stuff. I did not like Homegirl being like, all right, guys, I stole my mom's pills. And, this is the thing that can help us against this monster that we're facing. And, her moment of, her moment to shine. And she drops it in the toilet. And it's like, girl, what are we doing here? And then she takes it and then out the toilet and then doesn't even use it, and it's like, what the? And when she finally helps the girl out, and she's like holding the thing, and you see all the kids come in, and you see her from like everyone else's perspective of her just like holding it covered in blood, and she's like, no way, please. It's like, oh, this girl cannot catch a break. I do feel bad because she sent the father to jail, but like I was saying in the other video, I mean, the deck was stacked against him. There's no good way to explain, like, oh yeah, the place that I own or manage or however he owns the theater, it's just like covered in blood and there's kids missing and I just wasn't home. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not his fault. He was just screwed either way. So yeah, I'm glad Peppermint Patty, I don't know her name, but I'm just keep calling her got her comeuppance. I'm waiting for the main patty cake girl to get hers. I think the other two, in my opinion, I feel like if they get rid of the main bitchy little girl, that the other two will kind of chill out, you know what I mean, and just be like regular people. But if not, they can go too. But I need that other girl gone, the main popular girl. She gotta go. Pennywise, do your thing, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I like that that girl got kind of what was coming to her. I feel bad for Homegirl for getting, again, she can be sent to the asylum. Hopefully they don't, scramble her brains. I love the entire Native American part of this episode, from Halloran going into the dude's brain and like going through his little memories, and we see the whole backstory, and then at the end he's like, yeah, why don't you tell me where all those pieces are at, man? And then he was acting a little weird at the end, and I seen a video and some people were saying like, oh no, that's Pennywise. He's tapping into Halloran and he took him over and it's like, yeah, you know what? Let me free myself from my cage. Why don't you tell me where those pieces are? It's like, I don't know if that's true. That's just a theory. It's just a theory. But I did think at the end where he's like, tell me what you know, and he's like smiling really big. I was like, seems a little weird because Halloran like does his job, but it doesn't seem like he's like, this isn't like his dream job. So I'm like, we'll see what happens tonight. But no, the whole like Native American part, like Native Americans from like this and like Sinners and some other stuff. I'm like, we need like Predator Blade style movie. Well, like the aesthetic of Prey, but like Blade style movie where it's just Native Americans fighting like supernatural creatures. Hollywood would make money. They ain't gonna make it, but I think it would be sick. We learned the backstory of Pennywise came down in that meteor, which was his cage. It broke open as soon as it crashed. I think that's poor design on whoever made the cage, in my opinion. But the Native Americans, they found a piece. They made a little dagger out of it, and they said, square up. And they've been fighting him for years. But it seemed like it wasn't working, especially when the white people came, and so they're like, we gotta get more pieces. And so girl and her girlies went out and they did the thing. Fortunately they lost some people along the way, but they got more pieces. They weren't able to take him out, but they were able to make a cage. It was like, hey, a win is a win is a win. Okay. Now in terms of like when Pennywise was transforming, when he was fighting the Native Americans, I was like, okay, cool. I kind of like the, this like undead moose, because moose are just unnecessarily huge. Like, if you don't believe me, just look up videos. They are massive. Like, it was just like a priest and like sickly white people. I do feel like they missed out on a couple opportunities. Granted, it probably would have been too much CG, but I was like seeing some videos, and I guess those are like from It Chapter 2 of like, the Thunderbird and like some other things from like Native American lore. And I kind of wish there was like one extra thing that felt like specifically Native American based in terms of like their beliefs. But again, maybe that was just too much CG. I just felt like they overused the moose. But that's just a small little nitpick. Again, I thought that whole part, awesome. I do wish there was like some sort of other way other than being like, why don't you tell me if you remember the whole story, little boy? And he's like, okay. So it all started. I was like, all right. I wish there probably could have been like some other way to get this exposition out, but I mean, I'll let it slide. I do like that the Native American part isn't just like this, like social commentary. It is like a huge part of the story, and if not, like they have been protecting the town in a way, or they've been like dealing with this for like a long time. So it's nice that there's this like, in a way, kind of they're integral to what is going on here. Moving on, right? I'm glad that the kids are discovering that like, okay, this thing feeds off fear, and I think that works not just because it's not like, oh, they suddenly just figured it out for figuring it out. I think it makes sense, especially coming off episode 1 where you see all the kids get schmurdered, right? So it's like the kids know like this thing could just take us out if it really wanted to. Like, it's really not like we have no chance here. So them figuring out like, no, it's messing with us, and then it wants to eat us, makes perfect sense, because again, there's so many chances so far where this thing could have just taken them, and then it didn't. The kid almost got eaten while they're out fishing, when they, his fake dad grabs him. I didn't find that part again. I was saying in the other episode, like, I think a lot of the visuals are like scary if you were there in the moment, but I don't find them scary as a viewer. I'm not like terrified, so every scare is kind of like not a grain of salt, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm like, I kind of wish it was hitting for me as the viewer, because listen, my undead burnt up father grabbed me and tried to drown me. You know what I'm saying? I'm running for the hills, but watching it, I'm just like, whatever. But I do like that the dad keeps seeing the balloon, because I'm like, adults never know what's going on, for real. But he's seen it twice, so I'm like, okay, the shine is shining over here. I wonder how he's going to be weaved into the story. I kind of already know what people are saying, like, his future is going to be, but just watching it from a show perspective, I was like, okay. I did feel like it was a bad move for him to come out side, where, he's like, oh, there's someone, Dad, there's someone outside, and he runs out, and he's like, who are you? Like, he's like screaming in the neighborhood, and all the lights are coming on. I'm like, brother, you're black. You gotta have a little tact, you know what I'm saying? Or like, what's going on here? You gotta read the neighborhood a little bit. Tangentially, his wife getting involved with the whole like, I gotta save this guy who might wrongly be convicted of this crime, right? It's just like, she keeps, I get that she wants to do the good thing, and I want her to do the good thing, but it's also like, ma'am, you're black. But it is this weird thing of like complacency, right? It's like, do you just stay in your little corner because you're like, oh, I don't want to make too much head, like, I don't want to make too much what's the word, like, trouble for myself. But then there's the idea of like doing the right thing. What's the right thing? What's the wrong thing? I don't know, but I do find her story interesting, because it is this conversation of like, you have this town who's like not willing to stand up for themselves, let alone, the little kid that was getting bullied, and then, she's black in a predominantly 99.9% white town. So it's like, all right, I'm kind of feeling this. I am worried for her. We'll see where it goes. I'm afraid that she's gonna get taken out by like the townspeople and not even like Pennywise. You know what I mean? As I keep saying, the dad I feel like is screwed from the jump. And then he's like, oh yeah, I was messing around with this white woman. And it's like, brother, brother, you're cooked. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Although I do feel like if my options were be framed for killing a bunch of kids that I didn't kill, or just being with a white woman, I'd rather go with the white woman and just, take the hanging rather than being labeled a child killer and then throwing me in jail, because I feel like that's the worst option for reasons I won't get into. But hey, that's just me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. See what else happened in this episode. Yeah, I think the only other thing to talk about is just like kind of where everything's going. We are getting more of Pennywise and his kind of form that we know him as. I was saying in the last episode that I think that it could be a detriment to the show to have it be called It and not have Pennywise like all the time, just because I think people are used to having the clown form, but kind of forgetting that his whole thing is that he transforms all the time. So I think this is both good and bad for the show of like, hey, remember everybody, like he's not stuck in this form. He just prefers that form, I guess. But yeah, we are getting more of the clown. It does seem like a slightly like different variation from like the one that we're used to, especially in the 2017 movie. So I kind of like that. I don't like when any franchise is like, we're going to do a prequel, and then you find out that the character has always been that character. It's like, well, then they didn't grow, so even having his form be like, it's still a clown, but it's not exactly the clown that you think about. It's like, okay, cool, he's like, he's finding this thing. Even though he's the villain, he's finding his thing. So yeah, I think I'm having a pretty good time with the show. I wouldn't say it's like amazing, but it definitely is filling that void of like, oh, it's Sunday, I gotta watch. You know what I mean? The intro banger, never skip. Yeah, so yeah, I think I'm having a good time. I think so far, if I had to rate like the first 4 episodes, because what is it, like 10 episodes for the season? So episode 5, we're halfway by the end of tonight. I'd say I'd give it like a 7.5. I think it's really close to an 8. I think some things just need to like form together. I can't remember if I said in this one, but in the other video I was saying like the what is that called? The military stuff. It just isn't hitting for me, and that's like the weakest part of the story. But I think from episode 3 into this episode, it is picking up. The rest of the show I'm pretty much in on, so I'm like, all right, cool. If we can pick up this military stuff, I think this show, rating wise for me is gonna go up. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it here, or else I'm gonna keep rambling. Let me know what you're thinking about the series so far tonight, what you're hoping to see in episode 5, and until next time, peace.